I guess the good thing is I'm doing my video in sections. So this is the video about why I went plant-based. You know, called vegan, vegetarian. You know, after months and months of research and, you know, critiquing everything, I have to say vegan or vegetarian is not what I was. It's not what I had become. I was actually plant-based. The more of the foods that interested me were like the alkaline diets. But even then, I couldn't eat everything. So, first portion of this podcast, of my plant-based podcast, is me discussing how I went plant-based and why I went plant-based. The story behind it. And that's what we'll be getting into. Okay, so this is, what are we in, 2023? This was maybe 2019, I would say, right before 2020. Chick-fil-A sandwiches were the last meat sandwiches, or the last meat that I was actually eating. I was going through a weird phase of not really overly eating, but I was eating. I don't know if it was like a budget thing or if it was more so like, you know what I mean, because I had kids, so I was like, I was budgeting. So I don't know if I was just eating Chick-fil-A sandwiches just to cut costs, because I was bulking too. So a majority of what I was eating was smoothies at the time. So that's, I was really going ham on my smoothies. My smoothies was really like my go-to meal, for probably, for a long time, while working out. I just love making smoothies. It was just easy for me to consume. So besides that, I was eating Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Like I said, this was the last meat that I was really eating. I feel like I was in a different phase of my life at this point. I was in turn becoming more spiritually in tune, emotionally intelligent, being able to assess situations better. Just the things that were going on in my mind, it felt a lot more open and clear. So around this time, I get reacquainted with somebody that's more deep into a lot of the interesting parts of being in spirituality. They were into the cards. They were into the crystals. She actually gave me crystals. I think I still actually have some. But it was a lot of things that she introduced me to, and another one of these things was, being in a vegan, plant-based diet. She was letting me know how much more healthy it was, and what it would do for me, and how I would feel. Okay, apologies, I was getting myself situated. I really hate the flies that just be trying to swing their way up in here. But yeah, so just a young lady that was opening me up to stuff. If to summarize it, I just felt like it was a young lady that I knew for a couple years, and we didn't end on bad terms. I felt like I was growing out of a couple phases, and she was open enough with, her heart was open enough, open, all right now, to give me a real look, you know what I mean, to see who I really was. I felt like I was definitely still, encaged or enclosed, or, a turtle still in the shell. So, I'm very thankful for the experience, to even meet that person. And I pretty much, that's where, the funny thing is that I can tie it into, that's where my spiritual awakening came from, if I were to use that term also. So a lot of that stuff came within the same breath. So I I didn't want to eat meat anymore. It actually made me sick. I used to go to work and actually get sick, you know, trying to eat meat, trying to eat processed foods. So, you know, McDonald's was a no-go at this point. Any fast food was a no-go. So when I talk about my plant-based diet, it was a lot of stuff that I was able to stop cold turkey. It was killing me. I couldn't eat it. It was disgusting. And you'll start to see sorry my necklaces. But you'll start to see that you know, in your spiritual during your spiritual journey, a lot of those things will occur. You'll start being just your diet is gonna change completely. A lot of things that you thought you loved, it's not gonna taste the same. And now, I don't say now, I'm so crazy about it. You know, I read a couple books. Was it? I don't know. I can't remember the authors right at this moment. Sorry if I'm all glossy. I can't remember the authors at this particular moment. But you know, how to eat to live, and that's a if I'm not mistaken, that's close to Muslim, Nation of Islam. You know, Islamic diets. I actually go by more of a OMAD diet, where it's only 1 meal a day. And to be honest, that's been extremely healthy for me. I've been able to really make leaps and bounds with that, cure a lot of the things that I felt like was wrong with my body. Got into yoga. Energy feels amazing. But now I want to get back into sports. So now it's like, even though I need a lot of protein, I know how to get my protein now. You know, I did my research on how to get my protein. And I did my research on how to get my carbs. And I did my research on how to pack on my calories. But like I said, there's a lot of things that I'm not willing to eat anymore because of this plant-based diet. You know, like bread. I'm not really interested in a lot of breads anymore. So I got to find other ways to get my carbs. You know, I'm not really interested in pasta. Spaghetti is cool, but I don't say I wouldn't go crazy with it anymore. I'll more so eat more of like Asian style noodles now. So that's the crazier part, is like my diet, it just went ballistic. And it was certain things that I would try it. It was some stuff that looked amazing. It looked so good to me, but I couldn't eat it. Why? I tried it, but then literally later that night or later that day, I'll throw it up. I started noticing my stomach got a lot smaller. So when I decided to put meat down, at that point I hadn't eaten pork in a couple years. So my body was pretty much, it was conditioned a certain way. But then I got into the point where I only ate once a day. Then I tried to figure out if I can eat once every 2 days. And honestly, that's what I'm saying, like, when you don't have other distractions around you and you don't have other people trying to, like, because they're hungry, now you want to eat, in a lot of those scenarios, you'll find yourself being able to eat once every 3 days, once every 4 days, and be completely content. But that's just me. But and that's why I said, like, like Islam, there's a lot of stuff that I study that has to go with that. So I don't knock anything, but I tell people, like, if I'm doing it a very specific way, so I just can tell my story. I can't tell people like the science behind a lot of what I do. You know what I mean? Like I said, I did my research, found out it was a healthier way to live, and it was souls that were living to 150, almost 200 years old, because they weren't stressing out their stomach. And I from the things that I study, I find the research to be true. I believe it. The less stress that I put on my stomach, the better that I feel. I like juicing, makes me feel amazing. So I understand why people can look like they're 25, 30 years old and they're 50. So I'm just saying, I get it. So those are the things that I decided to go by. And if that turns into its own study, not like anything crazy, but you know what I mean, if I do all my own research and then decide to put that research that I learned into a book and and into my understanding. You know what I mean? That's what I'm taking the time to do, because I'm learning what is for my body. That's what I learned. Everything is not for everybody, but you can try everything, but everything is not for you. So then it's okay to experiment, to figure out what your body is okay with and what it isn't. Like I said, I had to stop eating potatoes. I don't consume potatoes anymore. Why? Because I noticed a couple times that I did eat them actually made me feel sick. My body starts to reject a lot of these foods that I want to eat. And you know what I mean? It might taste so good, chili cheese fries, or you know what I mean? Like I can make pizza, but I gotta make the bread myself. Like I just bought a frozen pizza the other day. You know what I mean? It was a little plant-based frozen pizza. It made me sick. Ingredients matter. So you really got to check and see what your body is consuming that it may not really like, and a lot of it is processed. You know what I mean? As soon as you eliminate a lot of processed foods and you start eating a lot more fresh foods, you know what I mean? Or you might try out the raw vegan diet where you're not really cooking the vegetables, because people don't understand when you cook vegetables, you're cooking away most of the the nutrient content of that vegetable, of that plant. You're burning it away. So cooking it is literally not doing anything for you. But a lot of people don't think about these things. You know what I mean? They just cook food, it smells good because we're adding seasonings and stuff to it, when in reality, like from a nutritional standpoint, you're probably like destroying half of the nutrients in your meal that you need. So it's like, maybe chicken is the only thing that you can, necessarily cook. But as I'm saying, we're not eating meat anymore. So, you know what I mean? So meat, you got to cook it. And when you cook it, you can still get the protein from it. It's not like that when it comes to vegetables. Just like you got to realize, like, your body type. We'll go into it in a different video, but there's 3 different body types. You got to realize what kind of body type you have, and that's when you'll realize how to put weight on and how to take weight off. But even being plant-based, you got to realize that you're going to end up having to be a calorie counter, and you'll get so good at it that you can just look at it, eye it, and be like, okay, that's 150 calories. You know what I mean? You'll be able to eye it after a while, but still, you got to get to that point. So you're eventually going to be a calorie counter. And it's not that big of a deal, but yes, you have everybody has a different body type, and to gain or lose weight, there's certain things that different body type has to do in a specific way. And it's okay, but it's just the knowledge. Once you get the knowledge, then you'll be good. Make sense? So, like I said, God's been good to me, and I've been feeling amazing in what I've been doing. Working on already got my fitness program put together that I'm gonna do to get my body on buff. Already got some juice cleanses that I'm working on. I'm just working on getting another juicer. So until that time, your boy is here. Your boy is here with the content. Your boy is here recording, getting the message out. So I guess the question is, if you're wondering what it is that I like to eat, if I didn't already say it, I tend to stick to the fruits and vegetables. Those are the things that make me feel best. Like I said, even if it's raw, like I like a lot of raw vegetables. I really don't even like overly cooking my vegetables unless it's a specific meal. I'll be coming out with things that I actually like to cook that don't make me feel too bad, but are very nutrient, rich. Like I said, I like burritos, but I make everything myself. I use whole wheat. If I do use bread, it's always whole wheat. I stay far away from white bread. I've actually gotten to the point where I can make it myself. So, soon those videos will be uploaded, just for content purposes. But I enjoy stuff like that. Once you start being able to cook your food, that's what you'll realize too. And it's not about the process. It might be because you're no longer in the space where you can eat other people's cooking. You can feel the energy in somebody else's cooking. You can't eat it. You throwing it up. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever ate something and it was so fire, but you threw it up? Like, I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's true, but I'm just letting you know, like, that could be energy. That could be the energy. It was too much negative energy in the food that was being cooked. It was way too much negative energy in the food that was being cooked, and your body couldn't handle it because you understand frequencies. Your body is sensitive to frequencies. That's what you'll start understanding. That's a big thing. That's a really big one. So, just watch out for that. But then you'll realize how much better you feel because you cooked your own food. So, God is good. All the time. All the time. God is good. Until next time. Give me if you like the content, again, this episode, I know I'm all over the place. Again, this episode is about why I went plant-based. I know it's all over the place. I was driving. I do feel like I stuck to my notes, though. If you appreciate the content, like something I said, depending on what platform it's on, go ahead and give me a like. Comment something that was intriguing in the info. If you're on YouTube, give me a subscribe. Follow your boy while I'm on this journey. Any other social media, if you're on my podcast, go ahead and give me a little subscribe. Let me know you're listening. And until next time, this is Let Your Soul Speak. I'm out.